Are we live? Are we live yet? Happy Sunday. Yeah, my QC. I think I did it. I know I talked about it last week, but I think I finally set up a QC monitor, quality control. How is everybody? I see you guys have already been like chatting away for a while. So for those of you new, Let's Talk Homelessness or anything else is just a gathering of what do we call ourselves? Invisible people family, bunch of misfits, people that have big hearts. We've never really came up with a name for ourselves. We probably should do that. But anyways, Sunday night is just a gathering for a bunch of friends that we just get together and talk about homelessness or really anything else. We don't, or I don't put it out on the socials. It's kind of more of an exclusive thing. It's not saying that sometimes we don't. Like when I had my 25th sober birthday, we did a marathon. On holidays like New Year's Eve and Christmas, we do a marathon and we want everybody. And oh my gosh, it is Sunday. Happy Sunday. Derek and Addie are in the chat. They are the best moderators, hands down. So Addie is formerly homeless and Derek is currently homeless. Derek has an event coming up. I probably would have had Derek on the show to interview him, but I didn't have enough time to set up the software. But he texted me earlier today about an Invisible People shirt. And then somebody left a comment, hey, I want to talk about Derek's event. I'm like, what event? So we'll figure out a way of promoting it. And Miss Sue or so, thank you so much for your donation. And to answer your question, I saw it real quick. At least in California, many places, homeless people now qualify. But in California right now, anybody over 16 years old qualifies. Today I saw, or yesterday, they broke a record of 4.5 million vaccinations in a day. That's huge. And then 60 Minutes did a really neat interview with the guy that's the chairman of the federal money thing, whatever. I don't understand all that stuff. And it was really neat because they actually had a homeless person who she had a job and was living in her tent, and then COVID hit and she lost the job. And, Scott Pelley says they show photos of the tents right down the street from this guy's office and ask him, what do you think when you come into work and you see those tents? But the good news is he was talking about the economic recovery. It's going to happen and it's going to be big. And I sure hope so. I'm waiting for some good news. I need some good news. And then I saw earlier that Tyler and Dano were having a little conversation about Mr. Beast. And I got to tell you that I like Mr. Beast. I've watched, I believe, every video he's done that involved a homeless person. And I can tell you there's a lot of garbage on YouTube. There's a lot of people just being opportunists trying to make money. And from what I see from Mr. Beast's content that he has done with homeless people or food pantries or other philanthropy or cause, he was in it for the right reasons. He really wants to help people. And what is interesting is, so one of his crew, I won't name, actually follows Invisible People, and we've had some discussions, and they learn. So when they go and do something, does it actually help these people or not? And then they repair and adjust. We all make mistakes. We're all learning as we're going. So on the internet, there's people that are making money off of all kinds of social experiments and homeless experiments. And Mr. Beast is actually losing money so he can help people. So he started his philanthropy channel with started with a food bank and hopefully or food pantry. That's huge. And he wants to someday do a homeless shelter. And it's really amazing. And we need more people like that. So there's a lot of garbage on the internet, but I can tell you from my experience, watching his videos and then a little bit of interactions behind the scenes, he's really in it for the right reasons, and they learn, repair, and adjust as they go so that they can do better. And that is really, 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 really impressive and needed and really great. So before we go any farther, and I've got to ask Derek if this was a paid plan. I don't think it was, but Planet Walker said, I'd like to give a shout out to Derek Sue and Oakland's encampment event this April 15th. I'm going as I want to see Derek Sue give it to the city. Give it to the city. So then I text Derek, and hopefully Derek's giving you all details in the chat. So what Derek is doing and I'm going to post a link to a video where he talks about it. He's going to upload more. If you guys aren't, this is Derek's channel. I'll post this now. This is a video. Where's the links? Derek video on his event. So April 16th, no, 15th, sorry, April 16th. And the theme is, where do we go, Oakland? I kind of like what Planet Walker said, where it was, give it to the city. Derek's is, where do we go? And Planet Walker's, give it to the city. So I wish I was there to be able to support Derek in person. I also saw Derek say in the chat that the weather is good in Oakland, which to me means it's going to be cold, because every time Derek has told me it's good weather, I wish I'd brought a jacket. So, but anyways, Derek is really moving forward with building his dream, which is a large tent home community for his unhoused friends. And they're doing a big event, and please support it. Follow us on the socials. We'll be sharing about it. And since we, people only watch for 4 or 5 minutes. Most people. I mean, there's a bunch of you. You guys are so loyal. Like Dano, he's in the UK and he logs on early, and so Dano logs on early and he stays through the end. So I know there's a bunch of you that do that, and I'm grateful. But most people only, log on for a couple of minutes and then they jam. And I get it. It's I wouldn't watch me for hours and hours either. And then I saw Marcus earlier, and hopefully you're still in the chat, Marcus. Hopefully you're still watching, because Marcus asked for he said, I hope there's a more focused conversation tonight. And the last couple of evenings that we've gathered have been a little bit rantish. Is that a word? Because had my passion exploding. But one of the things, Marcus, and everybody, is some of these questions we cover almost every week. But what I was getting at is it's good to cover them at different times because some people just don't watch all the way through. So I'm going to start off with your question because we do usually talk about this at some point every week, but it might be later in the show. So Marcus asks, theories why homelessness seems to be growing more than ever before, including more detailed exploration of reasons behind high rents that don't match worker income levels. So I don't have a detailed exploration, and maybe you've heard what I've said, and it is the truth. I don't know how granular to unpack it and detailed anyone can go because it's more of a hyper local. I don't know where you live, but yeah, Jason, rantish. I was rantish. In the 80s, $15 billion of affordable housing was cut almost overnight. So in the 80s, Republicans cut $15 billion worth of affordable housing funding. They also cut food stamps. They also closed mental hospitals. They just destroyed the safety net. Now, I'm not trying to do a red or blue thing because homelessness affects us all. So whether you're Democrat or whether you're Republican, homelessness is in every single city in the United States, and we all have to work together. I'm just going down a little bit of history, and I'm going to try to do it rather quickly instead of going on like I normally do. But in the 80s, $15 billion been cut. Safety net gone. And that was the start of the homelessness we see today. It was, and you can research it, and we have videos, interviews on this YouTube channel and on our website in the news section. But almost overnight, the chronic homeless, there was not, the word chronic homelessness wasn't even used before they cut all this funding. And almost overnight, the homeless industry was born. So you have the Corporation of Supportive Housing, National Alliance to End Homelessness. You have all these organizations that didn't exist before chronic homelessness was created. There was no need for them. And then in the last couple of years, I don't know how far it goes back, politicians have favored housing developers. So I don't know where you live. I don't know if you're in the UK or Canada or if you're any parts of the world or where you are in the United States. But if you're in a developed country like the United States, Canada, or UK, chances are you've seen luxury buildings go up like almost overnight. One of the things the United States and especially Los Angeles is really, really good at is building luxury housing. So the developers get paid on the construction. They don't actually have to rent them. And what has happened is politicians have favored this luxury apartment growth that has created one more thing. Hey, Marcus, good. I'm glad you're still there. One of the things that also is, so I don't know exactly when, like the 60s or the 70s, maybe even the 80s, there was a movement to the suburbs where people in the cities kind of went out to the suburbs. And what we've seen in the last 10 years or so is people in the suburbs coming back to the city. That has also played a part in the high rents. For those of you just turning in, Marcus was asking, why is this increase in homelessness and why do we have high rents? So the last 10 years, maybe longer, politicians have been favoring housing developers instead of focusing on affordable housing. It's interesting is that we all want to think the best. You know, I opened this up saying I watched 60 Minutes and they're talking about the economy is going to come back strong. We want to think the best. But one of the things the homeless sector has historically failed at is being able to forecast homelessness, forecast the housing market. And maybe there was no way for to stop politicians. I don't have a lot of faith in our government these days. I don't know about you guys. So anyways, 80s, huge funding was cut. 70s, 80s, people are coming back to the city. Politicians favored housing developers over affordable housing. And here we are, pandemic. They said on 60 Minutes, 9 million people have lost their jobs that haven't been replaced yet. 9 million people are out of work that haven't been replaced yet. And when I think somebody else asked this question, when the moratorium, when people are going to have to pay rent again because the CDC and governments and, you know, everybody would have been evicted by now. It'd been horrible. There's still many of them are going to owe that money. But like I said, there's good news in that the economy is going to come back strong. They said tonight on 60 Minutes that they believe that, hey, Planet Walker, how do you know Derek? Because you had the inside scoop. So I really hope and pray, and I think we all do. A couple of things is hope and pray. I do believe in prayer, but we also have to take action and get politically involved. There's a lot of knucklehead politicians, and we've got to get them out. We've got to get the people in there that really care, that really, 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 really care. I think that is crucial for us to be able to survive. So let me give you a couple of quick updates. So our first news piece. So you guys, you've been digging the mini documentaries, right? We did 9 last year. This month, we're doing 2. At the end of the month, I'll be in Los Angeles. We're filming 2. One is with a group on Skid Row that do harm reduction with homeless people and sex workers. So we're going to do a mini documentary on that. And if anybody has a problem with harm reduction, you know what? You brushed your teeth this morning. That is harm reduction. You fashion a seatbelt when you drive. Hopefully, that's harm reduction. So we're going to do a mini doc featuring this really interesting group that goes out into the streets of Los Angeles. And they go to other cities, but we're going to focus on Los Angeles. And then I'm excited about it all. So when I say I'm excited, it's not just that one. I'm excited about it all. And then we are going to partner with USC I forget which school. All these colleges have like separate schools, but there is a street. You guys saw the mini documentary with Dr. King. Well, there is a street medicine bill coming up in Sacramento, California. It's a statewide bill. So we are going to partner with USC and produce a mini documentary about the gaps in the healthcare system for homeless people. So this is what your money goes to. I get asked this a lot. So we're going to produce a video that is going to help change a law in Sacramento that will help homeless people get health care. It will actually help doctors and nurse practitioners better be able to provide health care to homeless people. So that is what Invisible People, our focus is to affect change, affect policy change, to use communication, storytelling, and journalism. So those 2 mini docs are coming out. I don't know when they'll be produced, finished, but we are shooting them at the end of this month. Then also at the end of this month, do you guys, the movie Homeless that it wasn't my movie. It wasn't Invisible People. We just did the distribution. So that really got me thinking about scripted movies. And Invisible People, I signed a contract and we paid for the production. We are going to do, God, I wish my friend Scott Punk was in here. We're going to do a movie about a woman who was evicted and she's living in her car. And we start the production on that at the end of this month too. So it's, it's fiction like the movie Homeless was. If you haven't seen it yet, search in our search bar, Homeless 2021. It's only 13 minutes long. It's really powerful. And again, that we just did distribution, but we're going to try to produce 4 movies this year. The second one is going to be on eviction. So 2 new mini docs coming up. We're going to do this scripted film, and I'm excited about it. I put a couple photos up on the community section, one of the homeless girl and one of her family. So as many of you know, we did a mini doc on the community at Echo Park. Well, the community at Echo Park, none of it exists, right? LAPD came in, fenced it off. Everybody's removed. There's a lot of misinformation from media, from the politicians, from YouTubers. They're all sharing misinformation. They're not sharing the truth. And excuse me. So we have a news piece. We have partnered with video journalist Crystal Fambrini. And you'll like Crystal. Besides her being smarter than I am, she is far better looking than I am. But she is the video journalist for Invisible People. So our first piece, I'm really excited about it. We usually upload on Wednesday mornings, but I'm so excited. Would you guys like to see it early? She does, Matthew. If I got it ready early, should I upload it early, or you guys want to wait till Wednesday? What do you think? Let me know. And so every day, we got another where, I'm always looking for writers. Now, if you are a writer that can cover homelessness, more specifically, if you are a homeless person and you have some writing skills, I want to hear from you. We're always looking for writers. And we just brought on a new writer who is actually an audio journalist. So Crystal is our video journalist, and we're also bringing on an audio journalist. Who knows? Maybe a podcast coming down the road. I gotta, everybody and their cousin has been doing podcasts, and for me, the podcasts are the NPR crowd. Like, you guys are my crowd, right? You're the common folk. We're just hanging out. And podcasts, the demographic is more of your upper income, 70,000 to 150,000 educated white, is the primarily demographic of the podcast. And that's not my audience, right? So I've stayed away from it. I've had a couple of ideas of some good podcasts we can do. But, it's been, everybody's jumping on it. Sexy. But maybe this is, we're going to come into doing more audio work. So to recap, we got 2 new mini docs coming up. And we got our first scripted film that we're going to be producing. That is supposedly going to be done by May. Then this week, we are going to post. Do you guys want to see it early? Yeah, we're going to do our first journalism piece, video journalism, which is really, really, really exciting, and an audio news post. If you guys don't know, if you go to Invisible People / visiblepeople.tv / news, we do daily news 5 to 7 days a week. And sign up for our newsletter this morning. Every other week, we do a newsletter to highlight all the news stuff that we cover in that couple of weeks. And I had a good day today. I'm a little tired, as you can see. I've been, because of the blood clots in my lungs, they've been giving me some inhaler stuff that's killing my voice. And last week I was smart enough not to take it for a couple of days. And this week I did last night, and now I can't talk today. But so there's a gentleman, his name is Dan, who took me to lunch today, late lunch. And an interesting story. I don't know if you're watching, Dan, or if you're going to watch. An interesting story. I was at the Binghamton Airport, which Binghamton is tiny, and the airport is even tinier. And Dan recognized me, and we started to talk. He doesn't live here, but he was born and raised here. So he emailed me because he was back here visiting family, and he wanted to connect. And so we went and connected. And what was really interesting to me was he watches the live show every Sunday. And I'm honored. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Thank you, Maso. And hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If not, please correct me. Everybody that's donated, thank you. It is greatly appreciated. And again, I'm not asking for money. I mean, when we do are they called webathons? There's times when we'll do fundraisers. This isn't it. I just put it up there because you all give on super chats, and then super chats, YouTube takes a big percent. So this is 100%. If you give $100 on the fundraiser, $100 goes to Invisible People, and $100 helps us educate the public policy change, because as you know, it's like, this is like the fireside chat part of the conversation, is that, just because things are starting to get better, we can't let up. Oh my gosh. there's 10 to 14 million households at risk of being evicted. They're saying, hey, Dem Studios, what's up from Binghamton? They're saying things are going to get better soon. Well, if they don't, that means we got a couple million new people homeless. And we can't let up the political pressure. It's amazing now that significant funding is coming in to help the economy. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's an answer to prayer. But the how can I say this? I have seen, I'll just be real. So in Los Angeles, we had HHH, Measure A, Prop HHH, and Measure H. So big money came in and homelessness didn't decrease. So big money is about to come in, which is a good thing. And we, all of us, have to make sure that politicians and service providers, that they're smart with it. We can't allow corruption. We can't allow people to do stuff. We can't allow them to hire millions of dollars worth of consultants. We already know how to end homelessness. We don't need more research. We need to end homelessness. We need to house people. So we can't let up on the pressure, and your voice matters. It really, really does. So I just ranted or rambled. That wasn't a rant. I've been, how are you guys? Pay attention a little bit to the chat. Talk to you guys. Hey, Tyler and Beth and everybody else that donated. And thank you, Addie, for saying thank you to the donors. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, so we're going to hire our first staff person, me, on May 1st. Then we're going to hire our second, which is Aaron, who's our managing editor. And then when I get to LA, we're going to hire our third, which is an LA person. And to answer honestly how it's going, I'm losing sleep. I am losing sleep because it's the real deal. For 12 years, I have worked without income. I mean, I make money. I booked a gig. This is how I've always, so the pandemic killed. I have a speaking gig coming up in December where they're paying me again. And that all went away when the pandemic hit. So that's a great sign the economy is coming back. But for 12 years, I've worked these other side jobs to cover my own cost of living and work for free. And if I had kids, I wouldn't have been able to do it. There would be no invisible people. But 12 years of hard work. I mean, I rarely take time off. And then thanks to all of you guys that donate, that we've been able to hire staff. And that is exciting because what it's going to be is that we're going to finally be able to create the impact that we've always wanted to create. And we've always been an organization. We've always reached millions of people. We've always been cutting edge. And here, invisible people, and it's thanks to you guys and Janine, it looks like, and Jason, and thank you, and Matthew. Oh my gosh, thank you. It's because of those donations. And Auntie D, I saw your $2. You rock it. Auntie D tries to hit that I don't know if I'm going to be able to go the whole show. You can hear my voice going away. So these breather things they have me on is hopefully it will only last another month. But the and anonymous rocks it. We are going to be able to be the organization that we've always meant to be, reach our potential. I mean, we're doing so much cool stuff. The only thing this year that I still want to do is we're building. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm going to see if I can find it. There it is. This is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And this is only happening because of you guys, right? If it wasn't for your support. So dig this. That is UC Berkeley. So this is the second year, I think, coming up. I speak to the class. So that's the college class and course inspired by invisible people. So the whole class is built off of the content that we produce thanks to your donations. And I want to do more of that. Because, you know, the kids are a leader. You know, you hear it a lot. I know it's cliche and cheesy, but, you know, young adults today are tomorrow's future. And the more that we can educate and inspire young adults on solutions to end homelessness, they're going to have more impact in ending homelessness. Thanks, Pete Hunter. Jason, thank you. Wow. Oh, I didn't see Ace of Spades until somebody said slow it down to the Ace of Spades. So Ace of Spades, 626. What is leading them to Jesus going to do? With all the respect in the world. I was a pastor. That doesn't mean anything, but most homeless people already know Jesus. Who doesn't know Jesus is the guys almost got me ranting. So homeless people already know Jesus. They're not, I'm going to rant. They're not these heathens that are, you know, sinners. You know, saying a sinner's prayer is not going to change their life. But if the church went and started answering their prayers, do you know that the American evangelical church could end homelessness tomorrow if it wanted to? And I'm a Christian. We could end homelessness if we wanted to, but it doesn't because it's stuck on this bullshit sales quota. Did you say the sinner's prayer? How many did you lead to Jesus? How many did you lead to Jesus? That's not even in the Great Commission, isn't even in the Bible. It's I'm not going to go down the religious path. I know, breathe. What the church needs to do, instead of trying to get people to say a prayer, they need to start being an answer to people's prayer. You need to show the love of Christ through actions. Keep your mouth shut. Preaching is not magic. Jesus is not magic. You cannot buy God's favor through money or through works. And if anybody tells you that you can, they are lying to you. So I don't know who told Ace of Spades to tune it down, but you're probably telling me to tune it down, right? Dan, don't feel bad. Yeah, Addie, it does look, Amy, I'm sorry. It does look a little laggy, and I don't know why. I have the right connection coming in. I'm going to have to look at all this. Thank you, Vicky. Well, it drives me crazy. As a homeless person, we used to sit on Hollywood Boulevard. They would bring busloads of youth groups all the way from New Mexico to save the lost. And we saw the Christians coming. Yeah, we'd say a sinner prayer and maybe get $5 or $1. And we knew you didn't smoke cigarettes, but it was stupid. You know, and then these kids went and go, oh, we saved the life. We saved them. They saved this. What? You drove from New Mexico to go in front of, no, I got a great one. Oh my gosh. So I was in Tompkins Square Park for 2 hours, and 5 different churches came to feed the same people and to win them to Jesus. So the one time, I wish I had this on video. Oh my gosh. So the pastor, he comes up and he gives me a CD of organ music, right? And he's trying to win me to Jesus. And he gives me this organ music and he's talking and he's winding up. I know what he's trying to do. And so I said, you know what? Let me speak some truth to you. I said, if you guys came here and you started helping people, I mean, not by giving us, he's giving me a CD. I don't have a boombox. I don't have electricity. I don't have any place to plug it in. And it's god awful organ music. You know, oh my gosh. So I sat with him for a good long time and tried to talk him into service, not words, service, not lip service. And I thought he got it. I really did. And then he tried to win me to Jesus again. And the funny thing is, at the time, I wasn't homeless and I was a pastor. And anyways. Hoping from altitude. I like that. And thank you very much for your donation. Oh, Mike, you're welcome. And I'm sorry I didn't see it. You guys, I don't know how it is. How do you highlight stuff? Because it helps when you highlight it. I don't know if you're talking to me or if you're talking to somebody else. Because I know Dano and Addie and Lady T and Bliss and all of you and Matthew, you guys all have these other conversations, which is awesome, which is what makes it so cool. Hey, Jason, thanks again. Oh no, we're upsetting Eddie's puppy. Tune Tamasha. So I used to do this when I spoke at like religious organizations, at religious conferences. So you can go to Google Maps and you can set it to a geographic region, and you type in churches and it'll show you all the churches, right? And if you go to your local, look up the local homeless count, there's usually more churches than there are homeless people. Now, I am not the smartest person. I'm not. I'm, when on that, the totem pole of smarts, I'm down here at the bottom. But if there are more churches than there are homeless people, it's pretty simple math on how to end homelessness. Hoping with altitude. Why, thank you. Hey, Bliss Bliss. Oh, I'll try it. I'll try it. It didn't work. What did I do wrong? So highlight the name, copy it, and then paste it where you want it. So I did. Or do you have to paste it at the beginning? Jason, thanks again. Wow. Matthew, wow. Two MRIs. So hopefully you're okay. I still don't think I did the thing right. Yeah, I didn't. I'll figure it out. Use at before the name. So here's the at. We'll try bliss like this. No, I still remember about 30 seconds ago, maybe a minute, I was saying on the totem pole of intelligence, I'm at the bottom. So on your end, you saw it with or without the at. Hoping, thank you. And anonymous, thank you. Salty dog, I don't evangelize at all, period. I never will and never have. I don't, and I'm a Christian. We have been programmed wrong. The evangelical part of Christianity is at the core of everything that is wrong with Christianity. Instead of caring if that old lady is dying, we only care about, did she say the sinner's prayer? And then we'd walk away and let her die. No, we got to help her and everybody else. The evangelical Christianity has turned into this crazy sales quota that the Great Commission isn't even in the Bible. Man has preached that. Man has preached that to get us. It's a multi-level marketing ploy to grow churches, right? The whole evangelical thing is so you can get seats in the bus, butts in the seats, and get tithing members. It's about the business of church. There's no buildings needed. There's no preaching needed. There's no sinner prayer needed. What is needed is if you see somebody hurting, you go help them. Hey, Tim, how are you? Yes, I thought you were getting in housing. Oh, you're in a pandemic hotel. Good for you. For those of you that don't know, Tim, who is homeless survival camping rights to survive, has been outside for a very long time. So it's good to see that he is now in a. Walter's in the house. Hi, Walter. Yeah, America's Finest. It's funny is that the business of church has tried to sell us on you have to follow the preacher, or God's anointing is here at the altar, or at wherever that man says God's anointing is. God's everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. They've just spun it. I'm going to run a quick speed test here because it has been awful jittery, and I don't know why it shouldn't be. Yeah, my Wi-Fi. Oh, there it is. I'm back. Anne Marie. Anne Marie's in the house, and Anne Marie donated. For those of you that don't know, Anne Marie was I got to tell you, where are we? We're at the end. So I'm going to tell you the story of Anne Marie. And Ace of Spades 626. Most of my younger years, I raised hell. Most of my adult years, I helped people. And that's going to please Jesus immensely. Last thing I would want to do is go in front of God and Jesus and say, oh, all I did was get a bunch of people to say a prayer. Come on. Just the thinking of that. And we bought it. Hook, line, sinker. Anyways, let's go to the Anne Marie story. Where did this all come from? I was going through Chicago, first time going through Chicago on our first road trip. And Anne Marie, hey, Oli. Hi, Phyllis. Thank you. So Anne Marie, this is when Twitter was first starting. Anne Marie tweets to me and says, you want to connect? And I'm like, yeah. Oh my gosh, a homeless person on Twitter? Whoa, yes, let's connect. And I'm texting her, or I'm tweeting to her, and there's no response. And I'm starting to get like, are you salty dog? Are you talking about pray? Yeah, pray for me. So I'm starting to get anxious because here, Anne Marie, who I've never met, said she's homeless in Chicago, and I want to meet her. I want to meet her. But she's not responding. So the next day she finally responds. And what I learned, and I don't know if you saw or if you were around when Twitter first started, but Anne Marie didn't have a smartphone, and Twitter was a text message, and you couldn't respond. I mean, you could receive your tweets, but you couldn't respond to that person and hear it. So, thank you, Addie. Probably the best move. And the next day, Anne Marie, and there's type in Anne Marie Walsh or Pad Chicago. And Anne Marie, we meet, I take her out to lunch, and she taught me about homelessness and the internet and digital inclusion. I learned a lot from Anne Marie. Anne Marie changed my life. And because a homeless person, they have phones, but they might not have a battery, or they might not be able to connect to the internet, or, even sell. So what I've learned is, you have to be patient. If you're texting or emailing or tweeting or Facebooking or YouTubing with homeless people, they might not be able to respond until they get a signal, or until they have their phone charged, and it can be a while. So then what was really interesting, and we're coming right up on the end, there was a Twitter documentary called Twittermentary that I should go find. Here, let me find it. Did I go away again? Wow, my connection's unstable. I don't know why that is. I'm back. Anyways, we're near the end. There's a Twitter documentary, a film crew, and they're going through Chicago, and they're making a nice documentary. Hey, Salty Dog, thank you. They're making a documentary on people using Twitter, and I said, you gotta connect with Anne Marie, and they did, and they grabbed Anne Marie, put her on a bus, and they came to Los Angeles. And I happened to be speaking at a large social media conference, the 140 conference, and Anne Marie was homeless, but nobody knew she was homeless. And it was really amazing because a couple of girls the night before adopted her. Anne Marie, are you still? Oh, there she is. Welcome back. It must have been overwhelming for Anne Marie. I remember taking Anne Marie to go buy shoes, and it was overwhelming for her, because when you're homeless, you don't have choice. You're given used shoes. So when I took Anne Marie to buy new shoes, it was overwhelming, and she couldn't even really talk about it. But anyways, there's this wonderful party for speakers, and these women adopted Anne Marie and brought her a dress, and I bought her shoes. And, I know Anne Marie says very overwhelming, and it's all in Twittermentary. I couldn't find a link. The camera started to go. But Twittermentary documented it all. And so at this party, there's some pretty big wigs there, right? It's a Hollywood party. And I told Anne Marie, I said, it's up to you. If you tell somebody you're homeless, it's up to you. I'm not going to say anything. And nobody knew she was homeless. So it was at the Kodak Theater. If you don't know where the Kodak Theater is where the Academy Awards. It's called the Dolby Theater now or something, right? Hey, thank you, Jason. Man, Jason, you keep rocking it. And I'm trying to tell this story. I'm hurrying up. You know what? I'm going to do it better next time. How's that? And I'll have some clips. I'll have some clips lined up, because Anne Marie's story is really special. And Anne Marie took the stage with me at the Dolby Theater. And we got a standing ovation. And what's really special about that to me, besides here's this woman that tweeted at me in Chicago, and now we're in LA, and we're speaking at the Dolby Theater where the Academy Awards was, is I used to panhandle out in front of there. So here I am speaking on the stage of the Dolby Theater, at the time Kodak Theater, getting a standing ovation. I mean, Anne Marie was getting the standing ovation. I just happened to be standing next to her. It's both of us. And I panhandled as a homeless person in front of there. I sold pictures of my iguana to tourists. It is mind blowing. It really is mind blowing. Okay, folks, I got to run. It's getting late. Dano's got to crash. He's been up late. He's in the UK. Really quick, should I post the Echo Park thing on Wednesday, or if I get it done, do you want to see it early? Normally upload early on Wednesday morning. Hey, Salty Dog, thank you, and thank you for the prayers. As soon as possible. Okay, I'm going to need, thank you, Swar. Hey, Marcus, you stayed. All right. So I'm going to need you guys to help spread this. So we're a little late in getting it out. We wanted to hit the news cycle. There's a lot of bad information about Echo Park. This is an honest what we could do to tell the story of Echo Park. And so I will let you know. Check out the community section. Follow us on the social medias. Thank you. Hey, Jared. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody, for donating. Thank you, Addie. And Addie, sorry about your dog. I'm sorry my rants scare your dog. And thank you, Derek. And Derek has an event on the 15th. I'll be sharing information as he gives it to me. He said that he's doing a video. Hey, Salty Dog, I need to get to Sacramento. I'm coming up to see Derek as soon as possible. There's a gentleman, a very kind gentleman. Hey, America's Finest, thank you, who is one of our major donors that I really want to go meet in person. And so hopefully that will happen. And Dan, if you're watching, thanks for the speedy salad. And did I forget anything? Thanks to everybody. Thanks to donors. Thanks to Addie. Thanks to Derek. Thanks to you. Thanks to thank you guys. Have a great week.